we're going to work on a software known as Spark AR Studio. And the particular reason that augmented reality is taking over virtual reality is that OnePlus Not came up with a very nice initiative. This was the first time something like this was happening. Even Samsung and iPhones had not done it. That companies are ready to spend billions of dollars on just development of this particular technology. There are some people who teach on YouTube for free. So there is a
Hello and welcome everyone once again to the session, and today we have a very special guest with us, Miss Tanisha Rana. So I welcome you, Tanisha, to DoCoNation for this session. Can you please introduce yourselves and tell us about the workshop?
Sure. So first of all, thank you for having me here. It's wonderful to interact with you all. I'm really excited to host this session, and I'm Tanisha Rana. I'm currently working as Associate Manager at Incubate Inc. Apart from that, I am a budding AR enthusiast. Something about me, I come from a non-technical background, but I've been fascinated with the augmented reality technology for about 1.5 years now, and I'm working in that field and trying to build a career in that field, and that's why I'm here today to share my knowledge with you all.
That's amazing, and Incubate IND is the official partner sponsor of this hackathon. So thank you so much to the company as well as Ms. Tanisha for being with us here today. So I guess we can start right now, right? Yeah,
Sure.
We have a few people joining in and others are also joining in right now. So I think we can begin.
Cool. So I plan to make this workshop very interesting for you guys. I just don't want to give you theoretical knowledge that you guys already might have, because I guess you are tech students, right? I'm not sure, but I think you all are engineering students. So what we're going to do in this workshop today is I have planned something that you might be really interested in. For the first 20 to 30 minutes, I'm going to talk about the topic, the future of augmented reality and virtual reality. And after that, we're going to work on a software known as Spark AR Studio, and I'll show you how you guys can build your own augmented reality effects. And this software that I'm talking about is a very user-friendly software and anyone can use it. It's a software by Facebook, and Incubate in recently conducted, and we were partnered with Facebook for a very nice initiative. What was that initiative? I'll tell you all about it and how we're going to work in the studio. We'll jump into that later on in the session, but first let's start with our topic. For that, I've made a presentation and I'll just share my screen with you all. Just let me know if my screen is visible. And I promise I'm not going to bore you guys with my knowledge. We're going to talk about something that is really relevant in today's time. And yeah. So this is the presentation that I've made, and I'll just present it to you all so that you guys have a better view about it. Just a minute, let me just check. Yeah. Okay. Can someone just confirm if my screen is visible? I am not really sure if it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. So, just a minute. Yeah. So augmented reality and virtual reality. We all know that AR and VR is widely used today, but where it is used. So this is a theoretical definition about augmented reality and virtual reality, an artificial environment that we create through a combination of real world. But this is something very typical and technical. In easy words, if I have to tell you what AR is, so I'll just give you an example about a very famous app that we all use, and the app that is solely responsible for bringing the AR technology to India. Now that is Snapchat. Now, like if 5 years ago, when Snapchat came to India, in the West, it was prevalent and people were really using it, as well as the augmented reality technology was really booming in the West. But in India, we were lacking behind in this sector. So when Snapchat came to India, the initiative was to spread awareness about augmented reality technology, how the effects that they are presenting on their app can be used by everyone. So this was what Snapchat was trying to do. But the moment Snapchat launched, it was kind of limited to only, sharing snaps, and it could not really accomplish the goal it was coming to in India with the scope that it was planning to create awareness about augmented reality. That somehow got limited to only being Snapchat as being an app for using it for fun and something like that, on sharing on social media. So that is what happened. And even now, we see effects on Instagram and on Snapchat. Many of us use it. I mean, most of us are using it, and we don't really know what technology goes behind it, what kind of effort it takes to build those effects. So the very famous Snapchat effect that we all got fascinated like about 5 years ago, the filter which we get doggy ears on our head and all those things, they are called as augmented reality effects, and they are built using this very own technology, augmented reality. And how this is done, so sometimes you might wonder that how can a particular effect, when we open it on our phone, track our face, and why can't the ear appear like here or here? Why is it coming at a particular point? How is it tracking our face movement, and how is it actually able to track where it has to come, or what is the particular position has to be of the effect, or how all of that works? So we have certain softwares for that apps. There are softwares like Snap Art, Spark AR Studio that we use to build these effects. And earlier, if 5 years ago, if I asked you, the question that was relevant in the market, not only in India but also in West, was, will AR change the world? But now, as we see, especially in the pandemic, we are so dependent on digital media and also on these technology that this question is now changed to, how is augmented reality changing the world? So we might be using augmented reality and virtual reality technology already, but we are not aware about the uses and the whereabouts of this technology. Now, this was about augmented reality. Coming to virtual reality, if I have to explain you in simple words what it is, so the best example of using virtual reality is gaming. So gaming industry is a sector that is blooming right now, and we all know that all those glares and headsets that we use that create a visually appealing experience, and we can actually feel like we are in the game. So that is virtual reality. When you actually are in an animated scene and you feel that you are in that space, that is virtual reality. But the thing is, virtual reality is, we are always dependent on some kinds of tools to experience that technology. So the Google Cardboard that was launched, the Google Glasses that are being launched, all of these things come under virtual reality. But there's a slight drawback about virtual reality, is that these tools, they're usually very expensive and they're not in the affordable range. So that's something that's an issue with virtual reality. But in the case of augmented reality, this concern is not something that we're looking at, because for using the augmented reality technology, you don't need to buy something that's really expensive like a Google Glass or something like that. So that way, augmented reality is now the big player in the market, and virtual reality is now kind of limited to a sector of gamers. We know that gaming industry is blooming, but the particular reason that augmented reality is taking over virtual reality is that virtual reality is limited to a particular sector. Now, what I'm trying to say is, it's not only for AR or VR, but for any technology, when it is first launched in the market, the sole aim is to make users use it and make profit about it. So, when I talk about augmented reality, everyone nowadays is using it, be it school children, college children, and working professionals, even our parents. In the pandemic, we saw how everyone got connected on Instagram, Facebook, and this is a technology that is available to everyone and it is very easy to use. While for virtual reality, you need to have some hands-on experience with it. You need to learn how to use these tools. So that is the thing. The virtual reality is now limited to a particular sector of gamers and of individuals who are really interested in spending that amount of money on a particular device, while the augmented reality is available to use and experiment to everyone. And as I told you, augmented reality versus virtual reality. So it's computer generated, while augmented reality is the one that supplements the real world with virtual computer and anything. So this was about the definition, and as I told you, I'm not going to bore you with this verbal knowledge. So as you can see, this is the main difference with virtual reality and augmented reality. For experiencing the virtual reality, you need some tools. And for augmented reality, you can see that in this picture, the engineering one picture, we're trying to recreate some model, and we can see actually how the model will look when it comes to real life. So this is the kind of imagination that we are working with when we're using augmented reality. So now I just want you all to think about when a technology is launched in the market. I'm not talking about AR or VR. Any particular technology, when it's launched in the market, the sole aim is to satisfy the consumer and to make people use it. So for example, a smartphone. 10 or 15 years back, there were no smartphones, and when smartphone launched, many people were apprehensive to use it, that it's very tough to use and it might be restricted to only younger generation or to upper middle class or middle class and higher class. So that was a concern that people had. But 10 years later, that concern is nowhere to be seen. We don't see those keypad mobiles anywhere now. Even with our grandparents, with our parents, we don't see that happening. So why has that happened? It happened because the technology with which the smartphones were built was so user friendly. It was so easy to use for everyone that that people could easily work with it. It easily evolved the way that we were working in, and that's how the smartphone industry, the smartphone market boomed. And now we don't see those small phones anywhere. The same is somewhere happening with augmented reality. So the topic of today's workshop is the future of augmented reality. So as I told you, gaming sector is one sector in which augmented reality and virtual reality has always been prevalent. But now companies are spending billions of dollars to make these technologies reach individuals who are not into gaming. For example, someone like me, I'm not into gaming, but I still love augmented reality and I'm working on this technology for like an year and a half. How did this technology reach me, or how is this technology and companies now targeting customers who are not into gaming sectors? So this is where we connect brands with this augmented reality technology. So as we know, there are several brands nowadays who are using this technology to popularize their product, to advertise it, to promote their products on social media. We are already using augmented reality, but we're not aware when and how. So I'll just give you a quick introduction. Yeah. So Snapchat, as you can see, Snapchat is something that we're all using, and on the right you can see this advertisement by Dairy Milk Silk. It was launched this year or last year on Valentine's Day. It was, I think, the first pandemic Valentine's Day that was coming up. So Cadbury Dairy Milk Silk came with this ad on Snapchat, and as you can see, this again is the use of augmented reality. This augmented reality effect was built by a company. I'm not sure. I think it was built by Blipper or Four Lunches, and then it was launched on Snapchat with the aim of making people use it. So this is how brands are connecting and bridging the gap between customers and augmented reality. The main use of augmented reality these days is to not only target customers, but also to provide them with an experience that is visually appealing to them and that actually makes them come to the point of buying the product or using the service. So I just skipped a point, I think. Okay, so that slide is ahead, I think. Yeah. So Instagram. We know that filters are everywhere on Instagram now, and whether it's Holi, Diwali, any festival that we have in India or abroad, we have a special filter for everything. And I was talking about the initiative that we conducted a few days back with Facebook. So this image, I got vaccinated image, is a part of that initiative. So Facebook came to us with this partnership offer that they had built an app, Spark AR Studio, that we'll be using today. So with this app, what you can do is you can build your own effects on Instagram. So sometimes you guys might have noticed that when you use a particular effect, there's a line under it, XYZ effect by this person. So how that actually comes It comes because that person's actually made that effect and uploaded it on Instagram, and it has gotten approved by Instagram for its use, and now it is available for public to use. So this was the main initiative of Facebook. They wanted people to celebrate getting vaccinated and to appreciate the efforts put in by the frontline workers in the fight against pandemic. And they came to us and said that, you work with communities and colleges across India, and you have contacts all over India, and incubating's developer community is really strong, and they wanted us to make people use this app, their software, Spark AR Studio, and make their own effects and submit. So initially, we started the collaboration. The collaboration was amazing. We ended up getting more than 15,000 effects, not only from India but from across the world. So the initiative ran for about 10 days, and we conducted workshops on YouTube for specific colleges, for specific communities, and we taught them how to use the Spark AR Studio. And by that virtue, people were able to use it, and they ended up creating amazing effects. And we got over 15,000 registrations and 15,000 submissions by the end of the event. So that is the craze of augmented reality that is in the market currently. And as I told you, we're already using it. We're not aware of what the technology is called, or we're not aware of how brands are targeting us using the augmented reality. So, girls, you might already be aware. Sorry for not being gender neutral, but yeah, Nykaa has this very nice feature on their app. You can actually try any lipstick or any shade of nail paint when you're buying it. So, gone are the days when you will go to a shop and you'll physically try and test something on your face or your nails. So this is majorly because of the pandemic also this has happened. But Nykaa also came up with this initiative to connect with users on a personal level. So a company or a brand eventually wants people to connect with their product or service that they're giving, and for that the experience has to be personalized, visually appealing to them. So to provide that feature, Nykaa is now offering this try-on feature on their app, and I think it's now available on their website as well. So they have this feature for lipsticks, for nail paints, and I think now they're doing it for all other products. So rather than just looking at the shade of the cosmetic that's available, wouldn't it be always better if I try something on my face and see how it is looking? That also increases the time that I spend on the app. That also increases my engagement on the app, and it also eventually leads to me buying the product. So this is how brands are targeting people, and this is something that all the brands are doing right now. Nykaa has done it, and a very big example of this is Lenskart. So we all know that we can try glares that we choose on Lenskart. Lenskart has been in this augmented reality field for a really long time. I think they've been using this technology even before pandemic. So this is the particular edge that they had over their competitors in the market. The sales had actually increased by a significant margin since they have launched this particular augmented reality feature on their app. So you can try on glares. As I told you, it eventually increases the time that you spend on the app. This is how brands are building and bridging the gap between customers and potential buyers. Pepperfry and Urban Ladder, again, it's a furniture brand. Gone are the days when you would go to a store, or if you're shopping on an app, suppose you're shopping on Pepperfry for a particular sofa or a dressing table, you don't want to imagine or take out a measuring scale. What is the size of that sofa? How will it look when I keep it at that corner? Will it match with my house interior? All of these things. To bridge that gap, Pepperfry and Open Ladder have now launched this feature. The same way, you hold your phone, you select the product in the particular place where you want it in your room or in your house, and the product appears. So in that way, it actually leaves an everlasting impression on the user's mind, and you will eventually come back to the app to buy that. So this is how augmented reality is coming to people who are not in the gaming sector, but they're using it. A very good example of this is Pokemon Go. So Pokemon Go was, I think, launched about 2 or 3 years ago. It has been 2 or 3 years ago since that Pokemon Go craze came. And this was again one game that that was so famous in the market when it was launched. People were crazy about it. This again was all augmented reality. This was probably the first augmented reality game that people connected with, and it was not very like PUBG or something like only a few people play it. It was something that everyone enjoyed playing it. Even my parents were at some point playing it. Everyone from school kids to college people, working professional, everyone was engaged with this app because it was so visually appealing, and it left an everlasting impression on our minds. We still Pokemon Go, we still remember how we used to spot Pokemons all over, somewhere in a house, in a supermarket like this. This is how it left an impression on us. A very good example of this use of augmented reality in the recent times is the launch of OnePlus Not. So OnePlus Not was launched at the peak of pandemic last year, and we usually see unboxing videos by YouTubers or by tech influencers on YouTube. But to encourage social distancing and to make people stay at home, OnePlus Not came up with a very nice initiative. They actually launched their OnePlus Not on the world's first augmented reality live product launch. And this app, I think it was built by Blipper. I'm not sure. Yeah, it was built by Blipper. This video was built by Blipper. And just have a look and see how beautifully they created. Even a physical unboxing experience can't give you that experience. What this video will give you. Just have a look at it. So can you see the experience that they have created using the software? And when this video was launched, it created a wave on social media, and people were OnePlus competitors were really hoping that their product's launch would get shifted because of the pandemic, but that did not happen because it's all about imagination and creativity. They launched this product, and we all know the craze we have about OnePlus Not, especially now. They, I think, launched a second edition a few weeks earlier also. So the sales of OnePlus Not were not even 1% affected because of the pandemic, just because of the sole reason that they indulged into AR technology and they launched the product at such an amazing platform by using this technology. It actually not only made an everlasting impression on the users, it actually made them stand out from the crowd, because this was the first time something like this was happening. Even Samsung and iPhones had not done it. They always have had physical unboxing events and everything like that. This is how AR technology is, changing the world and connecting with the users. So we just saw the video. So Blipper is a company that is working in the augmented reality sectors, and it's doing wonders in this sectors. If you are someone who's interested in this technology, you should go and search about this company. And I think this is the end of the video. No, yeah. So this is a graph that I saw on the internet. You can see the market size of virtual reality and augmented reality apps that is blooming. So in 2016, it was almost negligible. People were not buying these products. People were not using the AR technology. But now, as you can see, with each year, the rise in the product demand is increasing, and by 2028, it is expected that it will be a huge market, not only in US but also in India, because technology that we are using nowadays is India is almost equivalent to what people are using in the West. And in terms of technology, and the pandemic has actually been a blessing in disguise for digitalization, or not only for world but also for our country. So we can see how digitalization has happened over the past 1.5 years. So this is actually a time when augmented reality has actually boomed, and you can see by this graph that even the demand for augmented reality developers has increased. So brands like IBM, Google, Apple, all of these are now hiring people to develop augmented reality, and there's no as such college or particular course that is designed for augmented reality. So if you want to expertise in the field of augmented reality, you don't have to enroll yourself in a particular course. There's a lot of material available on internet for free. That's how I learned augmented reality. I've been learning it for quite some time now. The YouTube and internet is full of free content that you can use and consume for increasing your knowledge on this topic. And of course, after that, if you want to, master this art, you can definitely go for some paid courses. But currently, I don't think there's a particular degree that you'll get in augmented reality or virtual reality. So this is how we're rolling. But people without a degree, people are still getting paid in millions for developing effects and developing augmented reality technology. How this is happening? Because only and only because people are self-training themselves. They're using the content that is available on internet. They're grasping knowledge about the same, and this is how people are working. Even like Cred is now working towards augmented reality. They are offering internships, paid internships to people who can develop augmented reality effects for them. And scopes and opportunities in the field of augmented reality. So 3D artist is something that 3D artists, software developers, system validation engineers, software designer, design architect, these are just some top opportunities that I've listed here. But when you dig deep into this topic, when you Google about it, when you search about it, you will come to know that the world is full of opportunities for people who are working in this augmented reality sector. So like 2 years back, if someone told me that they're working in the augmented reality sector, I would not have thought about it. What is it? What are they doing? But now the scope and the opportunities have increased to such a scale that companies are ready to spend billions of dollars on just development of this particular technology. And it's not something that only technical people can do. So this particular field is open to everyone who wants to create and who want to learn about this technology. It's not limited to a particular genre. It's not limited to a particular sector of people who we are targeting. It's something that is open to all, just like an MBA, you can say. And these are some companies that are working in the domain of ARVR. These are all Indian companies: Avatar, Foyer, Zycom, Tesla Technologies, Camera, Four Lunches. These are some companies that are doing some amazing work in the field of AR, VR. And if you guys are actually into looking to make a career in this field, you should visit their website. You should see what kind of work they are doing with. You should connect with them on LinkedIn. They actually train people. They have internship programs, they have externship programs. They train people who want to work in the field of augmented reality and virtual reality. They provide them paid internships, and they eventually hire them. So we had people from Camera and Four Lunches with us for our event that we did for Facebook, and they told us that this market is absolutely booming right now, and they are ready to pay even students who don't have a particular degree, or they don't come from technical background, in good amount, just only because if they make something that is visually appealing to them, that they solve a brand's issue. So all of these issues that these brands had earlier, like Nykaa and Godrej and Pepperfry and Urban Ladder, these are things that people have created, and companies have paid billions of dollars to them for solving the brand's issue. This is how this technology is changing the world. And as I told you, I will not bore you with my lecture. So this was what I wanted to talk about. We all know that what augmented reality is, how it works. I just wanted to show you how we as people are connected with this technology and we don't even know about it. So if any of you have any questions, you can just ask me right now. And even after the session, you can connect with me on LinkedIn or on Instagram. If you guys have any questions, you can unmute yourself and say, or put it in the chat box. I'll be happy to answer it. And after this Q&A session, we'll work with a very interesting software. As I mentioned, the Spark AR Studio. It's a very user-friendly software, and you guys will love working with it. So, any questions for me? Or shall we jump straight into the hands-on workshop and let me show you how you can make your own effects and flaunt it on social media? Okay. Best.
I have something.
Yeah, sure.
I just want to know how much the thing related to AR is developed, because as we had seen in this lens cart, sometimes it's not pretty correct as it looks. Means what they are showing in their advertisement is really perfect,
Yes.
but when we use it, but in that at that time it was not like that as they used to show us.
Absolutely. So I get what you are saying. I've been a user of Lenskart. They advertise it in a very perfect way to attract consumers. That is what we get. But the technology of AR is booming right now because we are constantly looking for development in this field. Like you said, the technology in Lenskart is not perfect. It's not particularly aligned with our face sometimes. It does not show the correct measurements that we're looking for. So that's what the brands are pouring money for, so that they can develop the technology better. If someone has expertise in this field, if someone can, fix that bug of Lenskart, they are ready to pay them in millions. That's how it's working. They are constantly working to improve their app, to improve customer user interface. This is how we are rolling. Even not only for Lenskart, for all the brands it's the same case. Everything is not perfect when it's coming to augmented reality. Brands are constantly looking for good AR developers to build something better and to make their app even more visually appealing to the customers.
And can you just tell us from where we can do the courses to get hands on with the AR things?
Sure. So if you want to get started in this technology, first of all, don't spend money right in the beginning, because you are just getting started with this technology. You're not sure whether you're going to make a career out of it or not. So there are some courses, there are some people who teach on YouTube for free. So there is a person named is Parth Anand. He teaches really good. Dinesh the Salwakar, if I'm not spelling it wrong. Uh, there's a channel called Augmented Startups. These people are teaching augmented reality softwares and how to use those software for free on YouTube. So first of all, when you are just getting started with this technology, just grasp all the free content that is available on internet, and after that, if you feel like yes, this is something that really excites you and you want to build a career out of it, not a career, you want to explore it a little bit more, you can jump to Udemy or Coursera and join some free courses. There are some free courses available, and if not, you can spend 2,000 to 3,000 rupees for getting started and buy some good courses there as well. But don't spend like 70 to 80,000 or lakhs of money on getting some 6 months course or something like that. Of course, you can do that at a later stage when you're clear that you want to build a career in that field, but don't spend that chunk of money right in the beginning. Just start with consuming the free content available on the internet, on YouTube or Udemy. So that is best how you can get started with.
Okay. Is there any kind of roadmap related to this thing? Because we know everything is so messed up in today's time. Because whenever someone learns something, then every time when he learns more, then he thinks like the small things that he learned in the beginning was there no such don't have such use. So we should not waste time on them. But really, those things matter for the beginners. So So they just skip,
Absolutely.
and that really creates the problem. So is there anything like roadmap so that we can just do it
Absolutely.
first?
So, my advice to someone who's starting to look for this technology and starting to work in this technology is to connect with relevant people. We have platforms like LinkedIn now that are so useful. There are communities on LinkedIn that you can join, AR and VR communities. I have joined a few communities and they have helped me a lot. Believe me, a lot. I've connected with people who are working in this field, who are owners of companies like Four Lunches Camera. You can connect with these people and they will really help you in understanding what kind of market is booming right now for AR. So as you said, a particular roadmap. So right now we don't have a course or a degree defined for AR. So like if you want to go in engineering, you have that particular roadmap ready for yourself. But in case of AR, it's a new technology. We don't have a well defined roadmap. But one thing that we can help you with is just to start with the very beginning. As you mentioned, sometimes you skip those steps. Never ever skip even one single point when this comes to the use of technology that is very new. In case of AR, if you want to work with, don't just jump to softwares like Blender or Bosch's Common Reality app. Start with apps that are really very easy to use, like Snap Art or there's one app like Spark AR Studio that will work, and there's one more app. It's Apple Heart or something like that. Snap Art. Start with these apps. They are really easy to use. You might feel that you're not doing anything. It's just very easy to use, but that's not how it is. Once you start using these apps, you will realize that you have cleared your basics and now you are ready to use something that is more complicated. Then you can use apps like Bosch's Common Reality Augmented app or Blender or Blipper and create something out of it. And these apps are available for free to use. There are certain apps like Unity that come with a paid package, so don't directly jump for that. Explore and experience how these free apps are working, because the technology is same. Each and every app is using the same technology, but the level is different. So now if I show you how we're going to use the Spark AR Studio, you'll be really mesmerized with how easily you can create one effect in just 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much for
You're
answering my
welcome.
question.
You're welcome. And we had question. Yeah, best way to get started in this technology. So I think I already answered it. The best way to get started in this technology is to consume the free, knowledgeable content that is available on the internet. So I think you guys will get a better understanding once we jump into the workshop. In the second part of the workshop, that is the hands-on training session.